Today I will be talking about cloud, the thing that I'm working on for the last 4 or 5 years, and why industry these days is talking a lot about moving to cloud and using cloud. iTunes, YouTube, Gmail, these are the things that we, when we think about cloud, we consumers, we think this is cloud. Is it really a cloud? Yes. I like thinking about cloud as anything that is not being stored or processed on our computer locally under our desks or on laptop, but somewhere else in internet. So yes, this all is cloud. But today I would like to talk about a little bit different angle of the cloud, about something that we call cloud platform. And the cloud platform is the underlying infrastructure that is powering all the services that later we consume. I will give you 3 examples, 3 short stories that help me understand why we even need cloud, why everybody is so much interested in cloud. Story number 1, students. Students have an idea. They, on university, developed an app. That's one of the projects. The app would be such, I will demonstrate you, that you would take your phone, throw it as high as possible, and then the phone would measure how high. It was a pretty cool app. They actually published it in the internet, and people would download, and people actually played it. They thought, oh God, I think we invented a new business. We are going to get some money out of it. So they published ads on it, and they actually get a couple of hundreds of dollars. They were very excited. And then they said, maybe we'll actually make a ranking so that people can play against each other, who has the highest score, and so that they stored some data on their disks in their, home and on their laptop. Then one day, a cat jumps on one of the laptops, and it falls down, it breaks, and they lose all the data. So they lose all the users, and they actually lose the game, and business opportunity. So what could happen instead? Instead, they could use cloud, because cloud actually, it's nothing more, in a very simple way, than just a remote computer. It's very similar to the computer that we all have at home, like laptop or computer under our desk. It's not at our home, it's somewhere else. It's called data center. So the computer is safe. The best part of it is, your cat doesn't have an access to it. It's also secure, meaning that you don't have to worry about latest security patches to the operating system. Or you're not worried about somebody like burglar coming in and taking your computer, like that. It can be cost efficient. I checked, the cheapest virtual machine that you can get costs just $5 per month. And you can just hire it, rent it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you pay only for the minutes. And it's always running. What does it mean? Your computer, although it's built on top of the physical machines, similar to our computers at home, it's actually virtualized. It means that if the physical machine breaks underneath, it happens, right? The motherboard dies, the disk dies, CPU dies, and when it dies, when it burns, the system would observe it and then automatically transfer your virtual computer to a different hardware. And you don't even notice. It happens very fast and restarts all the processes that are running, your processes that are running on the computer. Story number 2, online store. They are pretty good business, they know stuff, they have been on the market for a couple of years, so they know that they have quite a lot of users, they sell these beautiful, wonderful handcrafts, and they know that, so they hire IT person, they have a special room for their servers, and they take care of their security and safety, they don't let cat in the room, and so on. So they have everything figured out. Then they know also that when Christmas time comes, they would have 10 times more users than they normally have. So they know that already, so they buy more servers to handle all the traffic. And the Christmas business is very successful, they earn a lot of money, and after Christmas, the users are gone. But they still have these servers. And what do they do with the servers? They just keep them. They keep them in their room, they are not used. Next year, they will probably use them next year, but they might be not that new anymore, maybe they will need faster machines next year. And they actually are just there unused. What could they do instead? They could use cloud. Because cloud is a computer on demand. On demand meaning that you can walk in or you can get the computer anytime you want without notifying anybody. And you can get actually hundreds of them just in a couple of minutes. With a couple of clicks of the button, you can get hundreds of virtual machines that you can then use and install your software and run your services. You can get it automatically. What does it mean? It means that the system can observe your service, and if it figures out that you do not have enough servers to handle your Christmas buyers, then it would automatically add more servers to your service so that your server keeps operating. And then when they are gone, it would automatically delete them to save your money. You don't have to do anything. You also pay as you go, I said that. And when you, for some reasons, you don't need, you finish with your business or anything, you just delete them and you stop paying at the moment when you delete them. On the website, I think it was written that I will be talking about why industry is talking about cloud. And so now, so first of all, the online store is a business, it's just small business or medium business. And students, actually, it's also business, it's also industry, but it's tiny. But now, I will tell about big industries. So who needs cloud? I was pretty surprised that companies like, for example, Coca-Cola, what they do, they sell Coca-Cola, they sell the drinks. But I was super surprised how much software, how much hardware, computers they need to handle their distribution, their production, their marketing, and all other stuff. So this story is about a company called Schlumberger. So they take these gigantic ships, they pack them with the specialized equipment, a lot of equipment. They put a lot of disks and tapes, like storage, on this ship, and they go to the ocean with it. In the ocean, they scan the ocean floor, they take a lot of seismic pictures, they go back later to the land, they unpack, unload the disks and the tapes, all the data they gathered, they transfer it with trucks, transfer it to the place where they move the data to other computers, and then they process the images to find an oil. So this is oil business. This is gigantic, huge oil business. Their business is to help investors that want to drill down and find the oil to find the places. So what are their needs when it comes to computing? So first of all, they take the images and they write programs to analyze these images and to find the places with the oil. But with the scale that they have, gigantic scale they have, they also need things like monitoring. Is my processing jobs are actually up and running? Are they doing the job that I wanted them to do? Performance, okay, sorry for the E. Performance. I have a lot of data, I have a lot of this processing. Can I make it run faster so that I don't have to wait 3 days for the processing, but can I do it in like 20 hours? I have 50 servers. Can I make it so that when I run the job, I'm using like almost entire capacity of the server instead of, for example, 20% of the server, so that is more cost efficient? when I have a new software, my software engineers wrote a new software for analyzing these images, I need to roll out to all the 50 or 500 servers that I have. How do I do it so that I don't break everything? Are my servers up and running? They are crashing every now and then, you know, as every software and as every hardware. Can I make it more reliable? My business is growing. Next year I will need twice as much. Oh, how much exactly I will need next year? And then once I figure out I do need them, you know, I need to hire people that would go and buy the servers, would then transfer them like physically to the data centers, install them, install the software, install the hardware, make them connected, and so on. Now guess what this Lamborghini company is actually interested in, what they are passionate about, what they want to grow at, and what they want to get better at. Right, just finding the oil. This is what they care about. They do not care about anything else here. They don't want to hire like tens of people or hundreds of people that would be specialists on the infrastructure. They don't want to get better in that. They are not interested. The only thing they are interested in is growing their business, making more money on the oil. And guess what? Cloud is exactly the thing for them. So cloud provides all the infrastructure and all the tooling by the people that have enormous experience in building stuff like that. Google has now over 15 years of experience building infrastructure for things like search, like YouTube, like Gmail, large-scale, distributed, reliable system. Enterprises like that, they would be glad to find somebody that knows how to do stuff and then just focus on their core business. These were my 3 stories about cloud. Now I'll move to a little bit different part. Any questions about cloud? All right. Part 2 is a little bit about me. I was asked to say about a little bit of my work, I'm sorry. Where I come from, what my work is about. I don't really like talking about myself, but I will do my best. I will try. Let's see. I come from a little tiny village, very, very small. It's just maybe 3 hours drive from here, out very south of Poland, almost on the border with Slovakia. The village is so small that my class in the first grade was just 4 people. And it's not even visible in the forest. It's just somewhere in the forest, really. Just 4,000 people, not more. And I was one of 7. I was super lucky that I had fantastic parents that supported me throughout my education and let me study. And so I went to a little tiny school close to my village, and I was like very good at math. I was also lucky because I found a great teacher. Like the teacher found me, that he knew that he saw that I'm good at math, and he actually spent a lot of time with me, making me better in the math. So I said, I'm good at math, so what do I do? I had no idea, as most of the people in high school don't know what to do with their life. And I said, okay, what is the mathematics, like, where do I get with my math? And one of them was software engineering. I had no idea what software engineering is, but since there's only math, I would say, like, I will try. And even though I was super good at my high school with math, I was like the best in the class, maybe even in the school, when I get to the exam, I just failed miserably. I left the room after 10 minutes, and some people in the room thought I am some kind of genius, and I just did like all the exam that was supposed to pass last 2 hours. And I learned about it later. It was funny. But back then I was like almost shaking, like, oh my God, I don't know like anything. So I took another year, and I was studying math, like pretty much myself. Like I bought that many books, and I study, and next year I was lucky enough that I actually got to software engineering in Krakow. And I didn't know anything about programming, about software engineering, so the first 2 years was like not that easy, I would say. But since I was there, I was like, I'm so lucky, I need to stick around. I either leave or I stay, and I stayed. At the end, I was pretty good at software engineering. At least I was getting good scores. And so I was proud of myself that I made it. Then when I finished university, my friend told me, hey, why don't we apply to Google? No, they are opening this office, Google office in Krakow. Let's go and apply. And of course I said, no, like Google, I cannot possibly make it. But you know, they were offering flight to Zurich and 2 nights in a very nice hotel. So I was like, of course I will not get to Google, but I will get this beautiful hotel for 2 nights. Like, it's definitely worth it. And then I will just forget about the interviews, how bad I was and everything, and I will just keep the memories of the Zurich and the hotel. And so, surprise, I actually got an internship at Google. So I got there, and I thought, I'm so ready. I'm here. This is the huge company, but I made it from the little tiny village up to here to this huge company. I will do it. I was so ready, I thought. Then one day, somewhere in the middle of my internship, I'm doing my project, 8:30 in the morning. I was coming very, very early. No one was in the office yet, because I tried to, do it. And so I'm typing and typing and typing. Someone walks in the room and say, hi, Eva, how is your project? How you like Google? How do you like internship? I was like, fine, it's good, yes. And then the next day, I had no idea who I was talking about to. Whether it was my boss or my boss of my boss or this director of the office back then. I was pretty much confused. That was 11 years ago. And since then, I walked a very, very, very long way to the place where I'm today, standing in front of you, beautiful people, talking about this amazing technology that I'm lucky to be a part of. And I know what happened that day. That day I was so stressed that they will discover that I know nothing about anything, about software engineering, and they will discover that and will fire me immediately. And my nerve system just couldn't handle that. Now I know. Back then I just had no idea what happened. Today my stress level is much, much, much lower than it used to be back there. And it's not only because I did a couple of presentations and I improved my presentation skills. It's because I feel that I'm bringing value to the place where I am, and I know that I'm good at some things. So I want to share a couple of things that I think helped me throughout the years to be where I am today with my self-confidence and with my job. Self-awareness. I learned over the years, back then I thought that I have to be good at everything. Because I finished university, so I was supposed to know all the books on the software engineering, all the algorithms, and how to work in the big company, and how to work with other people, and so on. And if I saw that I'm not good at something, in one thing, I thought I'm not good enough. But then I learned that I'm good at something, and I'm also not good at some things, and it's okay. And pretty much everybody is like that. And pretty much there's no one, or maybe almost no one, that is good at everything. So with that, I can use my strengths, what I'm good at, and to find people that are good at something else, and not necessarily that good in the place where I am, and partner with them, and together we make a good team that can accomplish more than each of us separately. That's one of the reasons also why I love being a manager, engineering manager, to build a team, to help people grow, and together make great things. Another thing is I learned how to ask for help. There are 3 ways how I learn. One is books and trainings, great. One is how I work myself, like from my work, no, it's unavoidable. But the third way, and the way I like the most, is find people that are already has been through what I am today, and then can share with me and help me share with me their experience and help with me with their troubles, with my troubles. So basically, learn from their mistakes, which is much more efficient than learning from my own mistakes. I love mentoring. Now I have two mentors. One is VP at Google, and one is my former manager that is not at Google anymore. And I talk to them a couple of times a week. They help me a lot. Opportunities. You maybe noticed that I was talking about how lucky I am. That my parents, that a teacher, that I had a friend that asked me to go with her to apply to Google and so on. And yes, I was lucky. And when I shared the thought with my friend, I was like, I just had these opportunities. Like, what did I do? I just, I was in the right place, in the right moment, and some people pushed me, and so on. But my friend helped me realize that apart from that, I was able to grab the opportunities. I didn't say no. Sometimes I did say no. But in some cases, I didn't say no. I did apply to Google. I did apply to university. I did apply second time to university if I didn't get the first time. And so, and all of that, or a lot of that things, were too difficult for me at that time, I thought. And I was afraid, and I was scared, but anyway, I did it. And I grabbed it, and I tried. Sometimes I failed, but sometimes I succeed. So, I'm not afraid anymore to take risk and opportunity. I am, but I anyway do it. Okay, I couldn't just, yes, I couldn't, I didn't know how to make this picture like in my float of my talk, but I wanted to show it because it's so great. How important it is to understand what you are good at and what you are really not good at, so that you don't make a fool of yourself. And I will tell you a secret, last one thing. People at Google, most of the engineers, females and males, everybody have you heard about impostor syndrome? Right? Most of people have it at Google. So if you have it, don't worry. All right, thank you very much.
Ewa Maciaś. Ewa, do you also have food for free and amazing coffee in Google Warsaw?
What is it? I didn't understand the question, sorry.
Do you also have like great coffee and like food included in Google Warsaw, or is it different in Europe?
Yes, on average, a new engineer at Google gains something like 7 kilograms in the first 6 months, and it's true. We have breakfast and lunch and dinner and coffee and donuts. And they try to feed us healthy, but I know where to find the goodies, like in the shelf, like there. I know the tricks.
Okay, guys, we have spots for 2 questions. Over there, and then we have here. It's the guy that wants to go to Mars, right? I'm sorry, I don't really see well.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not a guy.
I'm sorry.
I would like to ask about mentorship. It's about how to ask for help and how to find people to give help.
Mm-hmm. What I do, I find people that I trust and that I know that they know other people, and I ask them to recommend somebody for me. They know me, they know what I need, and they also know some people that are high up, and so they connect me, and that's my secret. So far it worked for me, but even if I didn't have this, I would recommend just go to somebody that you maybe know, you expect might be a good mentor for you, and just ask. And back then I thought that everybody's so busy, this director is so busy, why he would find time for me? And then it turns out that actually most of the people are super happy to help and super happy to spend like 1 hour a week or 1 hour per 2-4 weeks with somebody to help other people. And then, but what's important when I start the mentoring relation is that I say, okay, let's try, but if it doesn't work, we have to finish and no hard feelings. Both in when somebody asks me and when I ask, it's important so that we can go if we feel we don't need each other anymore.
Okay.
Hello, thank
Hi.
you for your great speech.
Thank you.
It's important to learn from the mistakes, so I would like to know what would you change in your work that you know that you don't do exactly right now, or what do you see as a change to something better?
My wish that I always have and my dream is that I actually control more what I do and where I am, where my, let's say, career goes. So far, I was just going with the flow. There's opportunity, so I jump and grab, and like it's worked pretty well for me in most cases. But sometimes I feel I would like to actually be more conscious about what works for me and what I'm actually passionate. I think I know some stuff, but none of it. What I'm actually passionate about, and then instead of just jumping and on another opportunity, just say maybe there are 5 opportunities and I choose the 3rd one because this is where I go. So that's something that I'm not good about yet, and I would like to change.
Can you just hand it over to the lady behind you? You had a question as well, right?
Yes, but it's also quite similar to the one before. I just want to ask about your progress. How did you realize that, okay, I'm not probably great at everything, but I'm great at these things? So how that progress actually happened to you?
What happened to me is that I participate in a couple of trainings, we call them soft trainings, about soft skills. And in software engineering, this like when we hear like soft skills training, it's like, oh God, it's like people management and people crying and everything. But I actually love this kind of trainings because they help me to know myself better. So for example, in one of the first training, there was this exercise about colors. We were assigning colors to our characters, and we were like reading, like blue color is this and that, and orange color is this and that. And I picked one of the colors that fit me the best. But it wasn't the biggest learning for me. The biggest learning for me was that other people have different colors, and it's okay. And it's good. They do different things. I do different things, and I am appreciated as the blue color, right? And then I read some books about, like, for example, emotional intelligence, or I read a book. It's more about management, but recently the drastic candor. Oh, I forgot the radical candor. Yes, thank you. Yes. So it helps, yes. So this kind of the books and training really helped me.
Okay, that was Ewa Maciaś.
Thank you.